How's it going, everybody? Scoobers here today, and today we're going to be covering the Game Boy Advance. This is going to be a look back, a 2021 look back at whether you should or should not buy the AGS 101 or the Game Boy Advance or Game Boy in general. Now, first things first, to get it out the way, my model is a modded model that I modded myself. As you can see, I completely changed out some of the shell and everything else, and iconic. But you're not going to get a shell like that unless you go online and you specifically want a shell like that, which someone would have already made, or you can do it yourself. This is my OG shell. This is the OG shell I've had since I was a kid, and this is about the only thing that looks nice is the black background where the screen and the thing were. But yeah, as you can see, my old hampered shell has seen better days, lived a better life. Now it comes to prices, you're looking at roughly, for a standard one, to get it like this, where everything is going to be in here, obviously, you're looking about $100 because this is the AGS 101. Then there's the $70-ish AGS 001. The differences being this has super bright backlit screen. The other one kind of has a screen reminiscent to the Game Gear or the first model Nintendo DS's. And the original Game Boy Advance had no backlight whatsoever. Those can be modded, but if you are not good at soldering or stuff, you can have them custom made for about $100. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Now, looking back, this has been about, I think it's been 20 years since the original Game Boy Advance came out. Why would you want one in 2021? Let's say you want to go back and you want to play Pokemon Yellow. Well, Pokemon Yellow can only be played for when it comes to the original Game Boy, the DMG Game Boy, you can only play Game Boy. When it comes to the Game Boy Light or the Game Boy Pocket, you can only play Game Boy. Game Boy Color can play Game Boy and Game Boy Color. Game Boy Advance, I'll show you here, can play all three generations. It can play all three generations of games. Now, if you want to specifically only play, if you want to play these, but you want it the cheapest, there is an option with the Nintendo DS to some of the custom makers who have destroyed the DS's top screen. But even then, you can only play Game Boy Advance. This is the pure only way to play all three generations. Now, if price really isn't your defactor, you can also lift it up. I'm sure this is stuff you already know. But it gives you color for your screen. Now, I can't remember if there was a way. I remember there was a way to turn on and off, changing the color palettes. But as you can see, just boots everything up like a glove. And that's always cool. Now, I do have pretty much the Pokemon games. If you're looking to go back for any other reason, might I suggest games like F-Zero. If you didn't know, games like F-Zero was the last F-Zero game to come to the West, and it's a good way to play an F-Zero game, as has seen. You can see all that. Why get one? Nostalgia. This is still, for its price, one of the best ways to play games. And there were some good 3D shooters on this console, like Doom, Wolfenstein, and Medal of Honor. They were really well made. And it's just, when you look at particular systems, you see systems you see systems this wide or this big. When it comes to compactness and accessibility, this is the most accessible. This is the most accessible console. If you're someone who struggles with some accessibility issues, this is one of the best consoles out there. Not only for its price, but as you can see, I do have some issues with my left hand when it comes to playing games. So sometimes when I want to play a game, this was a nice console to just play. Like, you could play it one-handed. Or let's say you're getting a tattoo. You want to play left-handed, or right-handed, or one hand's busy because you're cooking supper, or anything, really anything whatsoever. You can do that. That is possible. The games are really cheap. Now, obviously, these are all bad examples when it comes to these games are cheap. But you can go into any mom and pop game store. You could find Scooby-Doo, you could find SpongeBob, you could find Power Rangers, DC, Star Wars. You could find episode 1, 2, and 3. You could find the Lego Star Wars games, Saga 1 and 2. And you can find those games for about $4. $4 or less. Now, Pokemon games as well, these are starting to see a decrease. About a year ago, these would have been $50. I believe Ruby and Sapphire have gone down to about the $25 range that I've seen in a local sense. Emerald has gone from like $100 to about $50, so that's gone down. F-Zero is about $10. Mystery Dungeon's about $10. These two went to about $20, and Pinball went to about $5. Leaf Green and Fire Red went from like $60 down to like $40, so they're kind of dropping in prices. However, with them dropping in prices, the Nintendo DS versions are, the DS and 3DS versions are kind of going up. But it seems nostalgia for the original ones is starting to die down a little bit. I'd say it's a good time to pick it up now. As well as if you go to garage sales and you see this sitting, someone has it sitting, it has its charger, and someone wants $10 and they have a bunch of games. You should pick it up. Even if it's for your kid, even if it's for a family member, anything. This is a great system still in 2021. Now, none of the parts in here are new. None of the internals are new. And why I mention that, the DS's, their hinges go, I can't do it because this is a pretty sturdy hinge. But DS's, you could flop them around and they would break. 3DS's, flop them around and break. They have kind of crappier screens. I've seen more DS's, 3DS's, 2DS's, DSi's with broken screens than Game Boys. And as weird as that is, it's like the shell's just a lot sturdier, lot sturdier, I've noticed. Like that. This is a harder plastic than most DS's. The DS's, like, there's not a lot of flex in this. This is the standard Game Boy one. If you wanted to flex the metallic top, you could easily flex the metallic top and break it. I think these were just made better. As well as the Nintendo Switch. It's $300. All the games are really expensive. If you want to jump in and get a Game Boy Advance, even the standard Game Boy Advance at $25 to $35 can net you, because I'm sure almost everyone has rechargeable batteries. If you have an Xbox One, you probably have rechargeable batteries. But you can go out, pick one up, you could pick up 20 to 30 games. All good games, because I'm gonna be honest, the Game Boy Advance, even the shovelware games are good, and you can find joy in them. You can find joy in a lot of them. They're all really, really good. You could pick up a very nice collection for even $50. Even 50. You could walk away with probably 5 games a system and have hours, days, weeks of fun. If you're more hardcore and you want all of the cool stuff, the prices have gone down. Now is a great time to start collecting. Now is a beautiful time to start collecting. Prices have gone down. You can find these systems in really well-kept condition. That's another thing. You can play 3 generations worth of Game Boy games. You can play the original. You could play the Game Boy Color. You could play every version of every Game Boy game ever made. So when it comes to it, even if you grew up with a DMG and you never owned this, if you wanted to go back and play this is still such a good alternative, because DMGs are actually kind of going up in price. Sort of. I've seen them jumping. You used to find them for $10, now they're like 60, 70. But these are cheaper. You can get a lot more games because you can... Crap. Let's say you found a Game Boy Advance SP, AGS 101 at a garage sale. You can find these at garage sales all the time. I've seen so many at garage sales online. People will sell them with a stack kind of like this. It'll just be a stack. And it's always worth the price. Even... Why say garage sales? Because garage sales, these things are so sturdy, made to last, beautiful. They look nice, they sound nice. All of the parts work. All of the parts still work. You don't see, strangely enough, you don't see Xboxes, PS2s, Wiis. You see a lot of those systems generally have some pretty janky aging to them. You can tell they've aged. Well, this, everything still works fluidly. Everything still works fluidly. You can run everything. Everything runs well. I mean, yes, it's a simple console, but when you have a simple console and everything runs nicely, it just makes too much sense. If you're seeing this video in 2021, because you probably are, take this as a sign to go pick up a Game Boy. Go pick up a Game Boy Advance. They're nice. They work. They so rarely have issues. And if you find one, like mine got old, I changed out the shell. If you find one with a busted shell, honestly, these shells are... Going on YouTube and watching a video to do this shell was really, really easy. It was super easy. It took about an hour, but it was very much easy to do. This, like I said, so this I did as this because translucent. I can see the cartridge right there. which is really nice. But you don't have consoles nowadays that, a lot of these consoles just don't seem to last very long. You're either going to see them rust out, rot out, crap out, and that is a shame. It sucks to see, while the Game Boy just continues to chug along as I'm crashing into everything. But the Game Boy just chugs along. Nintendo made these so well that the chance of these crapping out is so low. If you see one at a garage sale, and if you watched my video, you see one at a garage sale for $10, and it even has something like this, pick it up. Pick it up. You won't be disappointed because you'll get hours and days worth of enjoyment. And the best part about it, this will last longer than a Nintendo Switch. These little bugs, I mean, you could play a lot of the time. I've never replaced this battery. I've had this since launch of the AGS 101. I've had it since launch. I've never replaced the battery. But if I was to play Pokemon, I could play for about 10 hours before this thing shuts off. That's a lot longer than the Nintendo Switch, the DS, the 3DS, the Wii U gamepad, the Xbox One controller, the PS4 controller. It just lasts longer than everything. And that's just super cool. So if you're thinking about picking one up, but you didn't know, because how could you know? You know, you don't see it, and there's not a 2021 video out about it yet. Well, here's your video for 2021 telling you, yeah, you should get it. They're nice. I hope this was maybe informative. This is going to be part of the Autistic reviews, and it's going to be kind of a look back type review, but there's just too much I want to say about this system and too much love I want to talk about. It's a nice system. You should pick one up. Thanks, guys, and see you later.